Hey, what's up everybody? Earlier today I was taking a look at what exactly the release date, the first issue release date is for the Zero War comics. Turns out that release date is June 8th of this year, and I thought, wait a second, that seems awfully close to the release of the new season, considering we're more than halfway done with the current one. Chapter 3 Season 3 drops on June 3rd, and then this comic releases its first issue on June 8th, so it seems like there's going to be a massive crossover between what's going on in the comics and what's going on in the game, and it'll be definitely worth keeping an eye on what's happening in the comics, but even now, we have just a ton to dive into. LEGO writes, in the description of Zero War number 1, it states that the IO are still present, so whatever happens after the event would mean that the Seven and friends are still fighting the IO in terms of who'd get the Zero Shard first. The main thing I feel could be possible is that by the end of the event, the Seven are winning with a greater number of individuals on their side compared to the IO. This would make the IO want to bring in more reinforcements or essentially retreat for now. After using whatever the Doomsday device is and how it may have affected the 0 point, since Zero Shards are going to be a thing, the IO would want the Seven to deal with the damages that they may have caused to the 0 point. We then find out through a cinematic view that the IO have retreated back to reality they came from, where the leader of the IO is shown and they prepare more divisions for the next wave. The very fact that the IO are still around and present in this comic's first release makes me believe that there is absolutely no way that the IO are fully wiped out here in this upcoming event later this season. If I had to guess, it seems like the Seven will probably win this battle and they'll do it pretty convincingly, but it will not be a total win because the IO will still be around, or maybe the main people in the IO escape and aren't affected by whatever's going on, but this opens up the door to so many different possibilities. The Zero War trailer mentions something about a Zero Shard and the hunt for it, so we know this is going to be something that we're going to deal with either in the comics, in the game, or both, which is extremely likely. But the real question is, how do these shards actually form? It sounds like something's going to happen to the 0 point, which causes it to shatter or break apart in some way as to leave behind these shards. We all know just how fragile that 0 point is, so if it gets something really bad happening to it, who knows how that will affect the game. I am so excited about this upcoming event because truly, we don't know what's gonna happen, and we'll probably get a much better idea coming up here in the next couple of weeks, as we typically do with the leaks. Especially so in this next update, which looks like it might be looking at a May 3rd release, so just a couple days away. I'm telling you now, there's no better time in Fortnite than watching that event countdown going and then actually being there for the live event as it kicks off and experiencing it. I missed the last one, so I'm so excited. Next up, we've got this tweet that I randomly found on Twitter from a fellow creator is Putty, and they say theory, Doomsday device location, of course circling that one little IO port just northeast of Tilted Towers, which I've said we should have an eye on this whole time, but of course, only time will tell. In case you haven't noticed, there are a couple cameras that are actually pointing directly at this area. This kind of reminds me of the telescopes way back in Chapter 1. I remember there was a reflection in one of the telescopes, and we dove so far into that in several videos trying to figure out what it meant. From the replies to that tweet, wonder if that device would use the real 0 point now and will backfire by damaging it. I mean, in upcoming Marvel Comics, heroes are going to look for its shards, aren't they? Bingo, and that's where the comics literally are playing such a bigger role than anybody would have truly expected, and I am just fascinated, and we're forced to take the comics seriously now. I have a theory. What if Midas got taken like Jonesy, and the IO is getting info from him to make the Doomsday device and repurpose it into some kind of weapon to stop the Seven? But maybe the reason that there are items from the Agents of Season 2 is because they're trying to save Midas from the IO. It is possible if the IO wanted to get a hold of Midas to copy his blueprints, adjust them where they needed, and hold him captive, they could totally do that. They have the equipment and the power necessary. Imperial Sans Trooper says, based on the IO card in the quests, part of Season 3's story, comics or game, will be Midas versus Brutus. Midas is a little bit more of a stretch, but Brutus, yes, you can see a figure which clearly looks like Brutus in this card from the challenges in the quest this season. Over and over, we just consistently see references and theories from Chapter 2, whether it be the Cube Queen returning, Midas being held captive, another Doomsday device, or ghost flags popping back up around the map. They just keep on coming. Something I just thought about is there are multiple entrances, multiple of these IO vaults in Command Cavern. Some people think the Doomsday device is in there. It could be in there, that's reasonable, but it could also be a tunnel to go deeper into the ground where the Doomsday device is actually being built. So many things intrigue me about this Doomsday device, man, it's wild. At the very end of Chapter 2's finale, we can see the island up in the air while it's flipping, and you can see, if you look closely, the middle part, the cavern-like area of the map in between the two islands. Now, in my opinion, it looks like it's pretty hollow, and it looks like if you were to go and build a giant Doomsday device down there, you could probably get away with it. To twist that in a different direction, it's also possible that the Cube Queen could be down here, assembling her forces, you know, and just getting ready to come on the offensive, because she really was about to win and just accomplish her goal at the end of last chapter. She was so close. After tasting victory and having it ripped from her, you know she's gonna be really motivated to come back with a vengeance. Wouldn't it be funny if the Cube Queen literally just third-partied this whole upcoming event? Looking a little bit ahead just to try and pinpoint when this event might actually happen. You know, typically Epic likes to do around 2 p.m. event times on a Saturday or on a weekend at the very least. Not every time, but a lot of the time they do, and they'll also try to do it very close to the end of the season, as close as they can get on a weekend. And taking by that logic, it looks like we could be looking at a potential May 28th event date if the season ends on June 3. But in this case, that's quite a lot of time to pass, and it's not like we're going into a black hole, and even then, we were only down for 3 days. I'm guessing this event will take place on June 2nd or June 3rd, which would be a Thursday or a Friday. Friday would be obviously preferred, but Thursday, you know, at least it's not like a Monday. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to click on to the next one if you want to keep watching some awesome videos. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new to get updated with the latest and greatest Fortnite lore, theories, news, and developments.